Hello, everyone. Here's a quick look at the top trending international stories making headlines today. If you post an interesting comment during this update, we may add it at the bottom of the screen. Cases of the Omicron variant of the coronavirus have now been confirmed in the United States, across several European nations, and in Canada, Israel, Hong Kong, and Australia. And across Europe, parts of Asia, the Middle East, North and South America, and even other parts of Africa. World leaders have been slamming the door shut on some African travelers. A children's hospital in Lisbon, Portugal, shut down after a health worker tested positive for the Omicron variant. And Germany just announced a nationwide lockdown for all unvaccinated citizens, but they can still go to the grocery store and pharmacy. But many health experts say travel restrictions and bans are almost useless to stop the spread of the virus. And United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres says widespread travel bans on southern African countries are unacceptable, and said the restrictions are similar to apartheid. In an unprecedented move, the Women's Tennis Association is suspending all tournaments in China and Hong Kong. The WTA CEO says Chinese officials have failed to address sexual assault allegations made by player Peng Shuai last month against a retired senior Communist Party leader. The WTA is demanding a full investigation and to have direct communication with Peng, not through emails, phone calls, or video. Chinese state media has completely ignored Peng's story of sexual assault, but have tweeted updates and video of Peng, which many activists believe are staged. French Roman Catholic Archbishop Michel Aupetit has resigned amid reports of an intimate relationship with him and a woman. Last week, a French magazine reported Aupetit accidentally exposed the alleged affair when he mistakenly sent a romantic email to his secretary instead of the woman. Aupetit denies anything happened between him and the woman, but he resigned anyway, and the Vatican said Pope Francis accepted the resignation. In Latin America and in the Caribbean, there is a food crisis, with 60 million people suffering from hunger. According to the United Nations report, the famine is the worst it has been in more than 20 years. And it's not just this year alone. There has been a 30% increase in malnutrition. And experts say it's not Latin America alone. Malnutrition and hunger is happening all over the world, and the pandemic is making it worse. Barbados has officially bid farewell to Queen Elizabeth as its head of state to become its own republic. In a grand ceremony, the royal flag was lowered, replaced by the presidential flag, and the first ever president, 73-year-old Sandra Mason, was sworn in. Prince Charles was invited as a guest of honor, as well as Barbados native and pop star Rihanna, who was presented with the new title of National Hero. The fashion world is still mourning the death of Louis Vuitton artistic director Virgil Abloh. He died last week of a rare form of cancer that he had been quietly battling for years. He served as the artistic director of Louis Vuitton since 2018, and he was so talented that earlier this year, Louis Vuitton supported Ablo by becoming a majority investor in his company Off-White, a label he founded in 2021. Ablo is survived by his wife Shannon and their 2 children. If you get creeped out by spiders, you may want to look away. In Colombia, authorities seized hundreds of tarantulas, scorpions, and roaches at the airport as part of an illegal animal trade bust. According to authorities, 2 German citizens had the insects in their luggage, packed in hundreds of plastic containers, and said they were taking the insects to Germany for academic reasons, but they didn't have a permit. Colombia has tens of thousands of different species, and so far this year, more than 11,000 specimens have been seized from illegal smugglers. And finally, history was made this week in Paris when American-born singer and dancing superstar Josephine Baker received France's highest honor. She is the first Black woman, the first performer, and the first American to be granted a tomb at the Pantheon. Baker became a superstar in the 1930s and then a spy and war hero in the 1940s. She died in 1975. As Baker's coffin was being brought to the steps of the Pantheon, a recording of her most famous song, Je de l'amour, was played. Sign1News will be broadcasting international news updates in ISL every Sunday. A big thank you to our Sign1News app supporters. You help make this broadcast happen. You can download the Sign1News app by heading to the App Store or Google Play Store on your smartphone. You can also watch on Apple TV, Amazon, and Roku. I'll see you next week.